you might as well go to another. Let's check the moisture content on that. Probably always a good idea. We're ready for some cup in it. I just can't believe it. That's interesting. Not pleased with that. I told a fellow the other day, he was sort of interested in the little cabinet that I built for the camper, that I had another little project coming up. We've enjoyed this little, it's 14 feet long, made by GeoPro. I think it's 5 years old, but we've enjoyed this little camper. But one other thing, I guess you call this bonus footage, that I did that I didn't show building, but it makes a nice little modification for this camper. This is they had a clothes rod in this cabinet, and really it wasn't functional. And so what I did was just build a little spice rack over here and put a shelf in and put some polycarbonate shelves so I could see what's down below them. Just made it a pantry or utility cabinet, if you will, but it made it useful space. Along with my bride's cabinet and the cabinet we're building today, made a little box here just to put bug spray, afterbite, Benadryl, that kind of thing. You know, the kind of stuff that you're going to enjoy while you're camping. Now back to the video. I told a fellow the other day, he was sort of interested in the little cabinet that I built for the camper, that I had another little project coming up. It looks like this board here is pretty flat, and since I used walnut on the other one just to keep it consistent, make this one out of walnut. I'm just going to be using tools that you can find in not most people, but a lot of people's home shops. Table saw, miter saw, a couple of sanders, and a drill. That's going to do it. So I'll take you with me on how I'm going to try to do this, show you the steps. The other little cabinet I built, I didn't show you the steps of what I did, and I'll try to do that on this. If you're watching a professional cabinet builder build stuff and you don't have tools that he's got, you know, you pretty much know, well, that's outside of my realm. Well, this is something that, you know, if all you had was a circular saw and a piece of sandpaper and a drill, you don't even have to have a drill if you had I mean, you know, it just won't take much tools to do this little job. We bought this little, I think they call it a FK14 back, I think it was last year. Did some horse trading on it anyway. I made a cabinet here the other day for my wife so she can put her phone and charge stuff. Well, this unit comes with a TV mounted over here. We don't watch TV at home, so why watch it in the camper? Now this piece of walnut here, now that shelf up there that we're building, it can be as wide as we can make it. What we have here, this piece is 8 inches wide and it's 7/8 thick. And it's pretty crooked. So what I'm thinking is, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it into lengths. All right, there's my raw material that I'm going to be using. So if you don't have a straight edge, you can take a piece of something that has a straight edge, like this PVC. It's 3.5, and add 8 to that. That'd be 11.5. So if I put that at 11.25, that ought to be about right. And I want my blade just barely up above that. And so we'll run this with that. And as this perfectly straight edge rides along that and this rides with it, it'll be making a straight edge over here. Okay? Pardon the noise. So that will give me 4 perfect edges. Now this board's also got some cup in it. You see that? But I think the plane will take that out. I feel pretty certain it will. We may have to go a little less than 3/4 to get all that cup out, but that won't matter anything for this. All right. So we've got our perfect straight edge. Here again, the width of this is whatever I want it to be, or as wide as I can make it. I like to do the round numbers, so we're gonna make it 7 1/4 wide, deep. This was milled on my bandsaw 6 months ago, I guess it was. Maybe a little longer. Let's check the moisture content on that. This has just been air drying. Let's see. That says it's at 9%. 8.9. Well, eight. 8.8. That's on the surface. Let's check it with a probe. I've got it set to wood. %. 12%. 12%. 12.8%. Very consistent. That's interesting. Is to me anyway. All right, next step. Say, well, why didn't you plane them before you rip them? Well, there's no need planing what's not going to be used, right? So we just rip that off. Now we got them finished width. Now let's plane them to the finished thickness. So there we are at 7/8. I'm gonna go down 1/16 of an inch and do the other side. Now before I assemble it, I want to hit the sides. I've got 180 grit sandpaper on here. All right, I'm going to cut them to the finished length. .25 3/4 and cut the line out. And of course, what I'm thinking is when you get down to this stage of the game, you've done a lot of work and a lot of steps. So you want to be really careful holding everything in place and not messing up if you can help it. So my shelves, from the bottom up, I'm going to set that one at 9 and set that one at 18 1/4. So for this top shelf, I need to make a little notch in this. It's back in the back of the shelf, so it's really not that critical. I'm gonna probably just cut that out with a bandsaw, and I'm gonna cut most of this with, I believe I'll cut it with a circular saw, and then I'll finish it out with the bandsaw. Like so. Now there is the potential that I'm going to need a couple of holes to run wires through. Probably not in the top, but I'm going to go ahead and put a hole here. And then put a couple of holes arbitrarily and just for aesthetics, I'm going to ream these holes out. These things work great. And then I'll finish sanding it. See how nice that reams that out? Don't even need a grommet. Like that. Now I could put wood pegs in, biscuits, could do all kinds of joinery and glue them all up, but this is just for a camper, and it doesn't bother me if I have revealed or exposed fasteners. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to drill me 4 holes where each shelf is going to go, paying attention to where I've marked the X because that's where the shelf's going to sit. I want to make sure that my holes are on the right side of the line. If I don't, then that's not going to make for a happy camper. No pun intended. 3/8. What I'm going to be using for assembly is 1.5" trim head screws. This walnut's so hard to where it's not going to take much to hold it together. Make sure everything's sanded out to pass inspection. I used to work for a guy named Clyde. He would come into the cabinet shop. He'd take his hands and his fingers, rub over things, and if he found something that wasn't up to his standards, he'd say, well, might ought to touch that up a little bit. So to match the madam's cabinet, went and purchased another bottle of natural finished Danish oil. Cost me nearly $15, but if it lasts 15 years like the other can, I'll be in pretty good shape. All right, so as you can see, the joints, they all very satisfactory. We got this rounded over a little bit. There's a little bit of sand in the line. I got to sand that a little bit more. Not pleased with that. All right, 1 minute. I believe we can live with that. Probably always a good idea, wipe everything down. Make sure you don't have any dust on it. Because even if you take the air compression and blow it off, you're still going to have a little bit of dust. All right, we're ready for some bring the life out of this thing. If we can get this can open. All right, that's the hardest thing I'll do today is trying to open that can. You say, why is that hard? Well, try to do it without thumbs. I might put this on with a brush. I believe I will. Well, the only thing left to do now is go see if it fits. Here's the moment of truth. Got to go under that. I guess you call this hers and his. And maybe it sort of matches. Fortunately, I didn't have to do any other modifications to it. Got 2 in the back, 2 in the front, just in case I need to run a wire through there. You never know what might happen. Doesn't hurt anything. All it is just put my nighttime stuff on here. Phone, glasses, watch, whatever. Let me conclude by just saying, I just can't believe it. That just, in my little time on this earth, the joy of being able to cut down a tree, make it into a log, and put that log on this little introductory bandsaw and mill some lumber out of it, and to take that lumber and stack it so it can dry, and then to bring it into your shop and just with a few tools make you something that's very functional, usable, and gonna make life a little bit easier. That's pretty sweet.